Yes, people. What's going on? It's Egal Talks Football. We're back again with another video. I got Dan Potts here from the 12th Man podcast. If you guys haven't already checked out his channel, go check out his channel. It is absolutely fire. You're flying right now. 31K subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. So big up to you. And yeah, Dan Potts is going to be here. We're going to be discussing the Zubimendi deal, a little bit of a difference of opinions, and also we need a striker. Should we be happy about the Zubimendi deal? Should we still be frustrated about the January transfer window? Does Arsenal now have a chance to go and still win the league now that Liverpool slipped up versus Nottingham Forest? We have Tottenham tomorrow, and we need to win, or should I say today, since it's past midnight. And yeah, a lot to say, Dan. Let's start with Zubimendi. Zubimendi deal happens. I'm not going to lie to you. First thing I'm thinking is, wow, what a player. Second thing I'm thinking is, I can't believe he rejected all those clubs to join us. Third thing I'm thinking is, yeah, it's a little bit of PR, but we could use some PR at this point because a lot of negativity and a lot of people I know don't even want to go to the game versus Tottenham. They're trying to sell their tickets or give it to somebody else because they're just so like disappointed in the general season that we've been having. But yeah, how you doing?
Listen, I'm really good, man, and thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, bro. Make sure you're hitting the like and subscribe, people. I appreciate the love for 31K, man. Thank you so much, man, and appreciate all the work you've done on the channel. I really do. Look, the Zubimendi thing, I've got to say this. I think it's a very good signing if it happens. I've got to be real. I think it's a really good signing. I like a lot of what he does. I think he brings a lot to Arsenal Football Club if he was to be signed. I don't think David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, Sammy Mockbell, Ben Jacobs were all wrong. I will say that I know that a few people have said on streams we've been on together that it's nonsense. I don't know that it's right or nonsense, but I would say my gut feeling is that this probably will happen in the summer, right? And I think it's a good sign, if it happens. Now, Partey and Jorginho could potentially either both or one at least leave in the summer, which means we need a number 6. So it makes sense, right? We're planning for the future. What I will say, though, is I can understand why people are a bit peeved that nothing is happening in this window right now as we speak. And I know we're going to get into that. The other one concern I would have just quickly is that the Declan Rice scenario, a lot of people believe that, oh my God, you don't make Declan Rice. That's absolute nonsense. I think he's one of our best players. I thought last season he was outstanding. But in the 6, I'm not too sure about this 8 position. So for me, if he does come in, I'd love to see Zubimendi and Declan Rice in a double pivot with Martin Odegaard in the 10, floating towards the left and the right, instead of just allowing Odegaard to be that guy on that right-hand side in that attacking 10 and Declan Rice to be in the 8. It's not that I think he's a shambles in the 8. I just think he's better in the 6, and I think that we are utilising his attributes better in the 6, which is why he was one of our players of the season and got, I think it was 13 Player of the Match awards last season. In the 6, hardly any of that was in the 8. He had a couple of good games, don't get me wrong, and even this season, he's been quite good in certain games, but he's just so much better in the 6 for me. So they're the only concerns I have about it, really. The fact we haven't signed anyone this window yet, and what does it mean for Declan Rice's future? That would all I'd be concerned about, man. But I do like the signing if it happens.
All right. First thing, I think it is kind of crazy the people that are basically calling Declan Rice out, saying this is all because we don't rate Declan Rice. You can have a player you rate and still sign more players in that quality area. I think people are more annoyed by the fact that we haven't signed a striker this window,
Yeah.
and less annoyed by the fact that what do you call it? We've gotten the Zubimendi deal done, because the Zubimendi deal is a great deal, and 51 million for a player of that quality. I'm beside myself. I'm really happy with that deal. I don't know about you.
I'm really excited by it. I am. I think he's a very, very good player. And if it does happen, I think Liverpool, Manchester City were genuinely pretty stumped. I spoke to Liverpool, Man City fans today because I do a lot on Football's 12 Man with rival fans, and they all went, "Wow, hands down, that's a phenomenal signing. I did not see that coming." I know LB Man City. He was like, he's a mint player. I watch him a lot. I thought we were going to go for him. Liverpool are obviously losing their minds about it. Hussam did a big rant about it. So they're all starting to lose their minds that Arsenal have done this. So do you know what? As much as I don't always praise him, you have to praise Mikel Arteta for this if it goes through, because he's clearly been pivotal into that signing. And people will say, well, what's happening with Edu? What's gone on with the Edu thing? Well, we didn't really need Edu, because if we can get Zubimendi over the line without him, we clearly are in a position where Mikel Arteta has got quite a lot of power. Now, I know he's not been in the door yet, and people will be shouting at the screen listening to this going, what? Hang on a minute, we ain't signed him yet. But it's looking like we are. There wouldn't be that many reports, Egal, that many people willing to put their name on it if this was not happening, in my brutal opinion. But they have got things wrong before, like they did with Liverpool. He could pick Real Madrid before we know it. We've got to make sure that we're in a position where he still wants to come to us in the summer, mate.
Fairs. My main issue, Dan, is this also means Arteta is now 100% staying, in my
Hmm.
opinion, regardless what happens. For them to now be getting signings lined up like Zubimendi, where Arteta seems to be one of the main driving forces in getting this deal done in the summer, that means no matter what happens, Arteta's staying. And that might now upset some people. For example, yourself, maybe Lee Gunnar and others who would want the manager gone if we don't win anything. This goes to show me that regardless what happens, the board and the club are backing Arteta for the long haul.
It's not a shock though, Egal. It's not a shock. I did say that as long as we get top four, the Cronkies will keep him. I still think he'll sign a new deal that, if he hasn't done so already, that will put him on a ridiculous wage. And I will say this, that although I said stay and keep him in May, which people think, oh my God, you want Arteta gone now? No, I don't. I am happy to give him till May, and I've said that right from the start of the season. It doesn't change that we've gone out the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. If he wins the Champions League or the Premier League, he deserves to stay. If he doesn't, and we fail to win anything and we fail to challenge right to the end, I don't see how he can stay, if I'm honest. In my opinion. In the Cronkies' opinion, he's staying wherever. So I think we just got to stop with this in Arteta out. Do you think he'll stay? Do you think he'll go? We know the answer. We're signing Zubimendi, and Arteta's the guy that wants him. So he's going to be staying. And that's where I'm at, which, is why I kind of put the blame towards more of the ownership level, who I think are rewarding failure at times. And I cannot sit there and point the finger at Mikel Arteta anymore. He's shown me what he is. I've seen the movie. I've read the book. I know how it ends. And when it ends and you're still keeping him and you're still rewarding failure, it ain't Mikel Arteta's fault. It's the guys above him. And that's why I'm putting pressure on them this year, in my opinion.
Fair. Let's talk about the striker situation. What are we gonna do, bro? Because we're
Bro,
hearing about Dusan Vlahovic, we're hearing about Sesko, we're hearing Nico Williams' wages too much, we're hearing Stan Kroenke is coming to Arsenal for the North London derby, and he's gonna have an emergency meeting because of Jesus' injury. How much of this stuff do you actually believe? Because from my perspective, we need to get something done. And reports came out earlier today that Vlahovic is just clickbait. We're hearing reports that Sesko is not going to happen. Realistically, it's unlikely. All these transfers, we just keep hearing reports that are unlikely. So, do you really believe they just put out this whole news just to make Arsenal fans happy and they're not going to do nothing this window? Or surely they have to do something?
I would like to think that Josh Kroenke's not had to fly over to talk about Zubimendi. I would like to think it's not that. I would also like to think that Josh doesn't want to come to the North London derby as a fan and prove to the fans that he cares. I'd hope it's neither of those two things. I'd hope that he's coming over as an emergency to say, right, we've got problems. What do you need? That's what I really hope it is. Look, I think realistically, any forward that's coming in at the moment, the only one that I can see happening realistically is Dusan Vlahovic, if I'm honest with you. Looks like Conor Mawani's going from PSG to Juventus, and it sounds as if Vlahovic is one that they're looking to get rid of. So maybe we can do a loan with an obligation to buy. David Ornstein also reported that we're looking at a loan overseas. I imagine it's that. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's that, but that's the one that makes sense to me. I would love it to be a Lookman. I'd love it to be a Nico Williams. I'd love it to be a player of that quality. I'd love it to be Gyökeres or Osimhen. I don't think any of those names are coming to Arsenal this month.
Do you think it's possible we could get Vlahovic?
Yes, I do. I think it's possible. I do. Look, I would love for that emergency meeting to be right. Mikel, what do you need? I want you to go release the clause of Gyökeres, and I want us to go and get Ademola Lookman. That's what I want, or Alex Baena, or somebody like that. That's what I'd love to go and do, but I don't think that's going to be realistic. So for me, you either look at who's potential, which would be a bit like roll eyes signings, like Evan Ferguson on loan or Rashford on loan or something crazy like that. I don't want to do that, man. I really don't want to do that. Vlahovic for me is realistic. I would take Vlahovic at 24, 25. He's still got a lot of potential to get better. I think he needs to settle into a team. I think that at Fiorentina and Juventus, he wasn't really settled at either of those clubs because everybody wanted him. So if he can actually go to a big club and the size of Arsenal and actually get into being their number 9 and that he feels loved and wanted, maybe we can get something out of him. I do think he's better than Havertz and Trossard and Jesus and the guys that we've got. So that I can see being a realistic target for January. But I really have a gut feeling, Egal, that we're not going to do anything, bro. And I think that's mad.
Evan Ferguson this season, I swear
About
he's
10
had
minutes.
like 7 shots all season, bro.
Crazy. Crazy.
7 shots, 1 goal. So I don't think that's the right guy for
Me neither.
Arsenal. Vlahovic, do you think he's the guy?
Well, I look at his stats and he scored goals in every season that he's been there. I mean, in this season, I think he scored, I think it's 8 and 16, which to be
He's
fair is about
underperformed his
every other game.
XG.
You say what? Say again?
He's underperformed his XG the last 2 seasons.
I mean, I look at it and I look at the stats and I think how much of that has been him missing sitters and how much of it has been him linking up play and being a nuisance and causing a handful. I don't watch Juventus enough. All I look at is how many games he's started and how many goals he's got. And I look at it and I think it looks more impressive than Jesus of this world and the Trossards of this world from what I've seen. So look, is he going to come in and
So
change and transform Arsenal? I'm not so sure, right? I'm not so
this
sure.
this is what he was doing when we first wanted him. He was getting 21 goals, 24 goals. Then he went to Juventus, 10 goals. Second half of the season. Then he went next full season 16, and this season so far 7. And
There
if you
we
can
go.
see where he scores, majority of his goals are in the box, like poacher goals.
Good. That's what we need, right? We need poacher. And I don't think that Havertz is that poacher. I mean, we've seen him miss from 3 yards and 2 yards and 1 yard. I need someone who's going to be a killer in that box. And if it's Vlahovic and we believe that's the guy, I would do it. But what I wouldn't want to do is go Vlahovic, that's it, we're done, and that we don't need another striker now. Because if he isn't it, then we still need to look at that position. But I'm just getting
I
frustrated
think
with it.
this is the guy though. This is the guy though. If I could get anybody,
Who?
Sesko's the most clinical of the players that we've been looking at. Look at his numbers, literally double the amount of XG. His goals, he's clinical. He's scoring from distance. You can see a lot of his goals are in
Well,
and
that's who
around
we
the
want.
box.
That's who we want from what we hear.
Yeah,
That's who we
and
want.
his
I think the
age
players
is
he
way.
wants are Sesko. I think he wants Sesko, Nico Williams, and Zubimendi as the next 3 signings. That's what I think he wants.
And I
Whether
think
you
those
believe
three
that, I don't
signings
know.
could be. I think those three signings could have a Van Dijk, Allison, and Fabinho type level impact.
I hope so. They have to.
But will we be patient enough to get that kind of deal done? What will we do in the short term? I don't want Rashford. I don't want Evan Ferguson. But if Evan Ferguson is the only solution until the summer, do you do it?
I think we have to. I don't think we got a choice, bro. We got too many injuries. We basically what happened is, and you agreed with this on the show that we did on my channel. The summer was crap, and that's why we're in January looking like this. Because now, if you buy correctly in the summer, you're not scrambling around in January, are you? And I don't think that we're the only club that hasn't bought right in the summer, by the way, because I think Liverpool and Manchester City, that's why they're looking around in January transfer window as well. So we're not alone, but we have to do something, bro. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Marcus Rashford and Evan Ferguson that would get people excited. It wouldn't me. Some people might look differently. We've all got different opinions. For me, Benjamin Sesko, I don't think is the guy because I think at 20 he's so raw. I think he's got a lot to learn. I want someone who's ready to hit the ground running, which is why for me it's Isak or Gyökeres as my first choices.
Or nothing?
Even Osimhen. Well, not all nothing because there
We're
are
not
other
getting
options.
Isaac though.
I don't think we're getting Isak either. No, we're definitely not getting him in January. I think
And
he
I
wants.
don't think Gyökeres. I don't know. They don't seem to be interested.
They're not interested in Gyökeres. Otherwise, we would have seen the links. I don't know
Is
why.
he the profile of what we want?
I think that Isak could be the profile that I would want. What Mikel Arteta might want would be more of a Gyökeres, but it's not Gyökeres he wants because it's Vlahovic and Sesko we're
But what
getting
I
in.
don't get is Gyökeres, he creates chances. He gets so
He's
many
got
touches in
everything.
the box.
He's got
He
everything.
shoots a lot of attempts. He scores a lot of goals. He just doesn't have any aerial threat or defensive actions. Is it because of the lack of aerial threat and defensive actions that we don't want to sign him? Because surely
I don't know what
that's
it
not
is. I
why.
don't know what it is that he's got that he doesn't like because he scores goals. He scores all types of goals. He's strong. He holds up the ball. He can win headers. He can
Sesko's
use his
not
left
more
foot
creative than
and his
him.
right foot. No, and he's one of the best ball carriers as a forward in Europe. Look at his ball carrying stats; they're unbelievable, mate. He's a top talent. I think he'd be brilliant. And I'm unfortunately going to say this: I think he's going to go to Man United.
Probably. And you know something? Man United might ruin him. Because
Hope so.
that's what they just do to players. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here, bro. Is there if I were to give you if I were to ask you prediction, we sign anyone from now to end of the January window, who do you think it is?
I will
Nobody?
go with if I had to pick one player, I will go with Dusan Vlahovic.
And Tottenham tomorrow?
I'll go 1-1, but my heart says 2-1.
There you go. I'm going 1-0 Arsenal. I win anyways. And I just did a video with George earlier today. But yeah, big up, man. Thank you for joining me. And hopefully we catch you guys on the next video, guys. Little do you guys know we're doing this at 1:30 in the morning. So show some love. Please do hit the like button. And yeah, go check out Dan's channel, also 12 Man Podcast. We're out of here, people. Catch you guys in the next video. Love for the love.